Hey everyone, Dmitry here, and today we are tackling developer burnout. What it looks like, how I crashed into it, and how I crawled back out stronger. Grab a coffee or tea because I'm unpacking every ugly detail and every tactic that actually worked. My hope is simple. If you see yourself in my story, you'll take action before burnout steals your joy or your career. So, take your seat and let's get started. Let's rewind to my second year as a professional developer working in a fast moving fintech startup. We had just landed a massive client, and management promised an aggressive but doable 6-month migration from a monolith to microservices. Famous last words. On paper, the tech stack looked like my dream. Spring Boot, Docker, Kubernetes, CI/CD, and GitLab. In reality, deadlines were brutal and scope kept inflating like a hot air balloon with no end. My day started at 7 a.m. The moment Slack buzzed and ended well past midnight with half finished pull requests. I convinced myself I was hustling for future freedom, but every week I pushed personal boundaries further and further. I stopped running, ate dinner at my desk, and answered DMs while brushing my teeth. Don't do that, please. The first red flag was subtle. I woke up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. So something went wrong. Second flag, tasks that once felt exciting now triggered mild dream before I've written a single line of code. Third flag, merge requests feedback exploded. Spacing mistakes, missed null checks, sloppy variable names I swore I'd never produce. And here is the worst part. I normalized that. I told myself, well, everyone's greeting, I can't be the weak link, right? Then a senior engineer pulled me aside and quietly asked, are you okay? Hey, I'm not coding like yourself. What's going on, man? That one sentence shattered my denial and made me realize I was speeding towards a wall. I spent the weekend googling developer burnout and felt personally attacked by every bullet point I found. Chronic fatigue, check. Cynicism and detachment, check. Reduced efficiency, triple check. According to survey, 83% of software engineers reported feeling burned out at least once in their career. At least once. That stat was comforting. Misery loves company, but it didn't solve my problem. I journaled the specific friction points draining my energy, constant context switching, endless Slack pings, poorly defined tasks, and zero boundaries after work. I also listed personal neglect items, no exercise, irregular meals, and social isolation disguised as focus. Right? The takeaway? Well, burnout wasn't a single fire. It was 100 small sparks I have ignored. So I built a plan called Operation Balance with two measurable goals: recover energy level and protect future time. Okay? So, tactic one was brutally simple. I just deleted Slack and corporate email from my phone, right? Only on laptop. The first evening felt like withdrawal. My brain kept reaching for phantom notifications, right? So I expected something to come in. But by day 3, I noticed I fell asleep faster and woke up without that morning jolt of anxiety. Tactic 2, a daily shutdown ritual inspired by deep work. At 6 p.m. sharp, a calendar alert titled "Walk away, Dmitry! Run, Dmitry, run!" popped up. Well, I just closed IntelliJ, pushed work in progress branches, wrote a 2-line Jira summary, and physically said, "Workday complete." Speaking it out loud felt silly, but it helped. So I learned it. And tactic 3, deep work blocks every morning from 9 to 11. I disabled notifications, put on noise cancelling headphones, and just tackled my hardest ticket first. The 2 hour sprint produced cleaner code that 8 scattered hours. Right? So completely focused for these 2 hours. Within 3 weeks, my pull request review times dropped by around 40%, which ironically feed evenings without asking permission. Tactic 4, I negotiated a no-code Wednesday afternoon with my manager. So instead of coding, I reviewed architecture documentation, updated documentation as well, mentored juniors, and planned tech debt cleanup. Right? Do you know, by the way, what is tech debt? If not, just drop a comment under the video and we'll have a separate podcast about that. The variety refreshed my brain and signaled to teammate that documentation is actual work, not filler, right? And tactic 5, daily 3-kilometer runs. I'm not a natural runner, but consistent movement flushed cortisol and delivered an endorphin boost caffeine never matched, right? After 1 month, my resting heart rate fell, my focus window lengthened, and surprisingly, my debugging patience increased. So, tactic number 6, learning to say no without sounding negative. When stakeholders requested an urgent feature, I started replying, well, happy to help. What should we deprioritize to fit this one? Right? So we have a sprint planned. All our time is booked. So if we take something, so obviously something should be dropped. The magic of this sentence, well, actually is shift responsibility back to them to justify the urgency. So they are the stakeholder. They should decide what should be dropped. Half the urgent request after that, well, actually vanished, and the rest came with adjusted deadlines. Just take and use it. A life hack. Well, so after implementing these changes, I tracked 3 metrics for 3 months: hours worked, pull request rejections, and mood rating on a scale from 1 to 10. So hours worked dropped from an average of 60 per week to 44. So just okay. Right? PR rejections per week fell by around 40%, meaning code quality improved. My mood rating climbed from a 4 to an average around 8. Still room to grow, of course, but a huge leap. I also started sleeping through the night again, which you can't put a value on, right? Just good as it is. Okay, so fast forward to today, and these habits are automated now, automated safeguards rather than reactive band-aids. Slack auto snooze at 6 p.m. every weekday. So the same, of course, applies to Teams or whatever tool you use to communicate. Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, whatever you use, once again, has focus time that blocks auto decline invites. I keep a physical Kanban board at home with 3 columns: work, health, and fun. Each card must move across all three columns weekly, or the board screams imbalance. I revisit goals quarterly. If hours creep up, I ask why. If gym visits drop, I schedule them like meetings. The way to go. Remember, balance isn't one heroic fix. It's daily maintenance, like brushing your teeth. So, if you are flirting with burnout, here is an action checklist you can start this week. First, set a hard stop alarm, even if it's just 30 minutes earlier than usual, but just go and set it. Secondly, remove at least one notification source from your phone: Slack, Outlook, Teams, whatever. Third, schedule a 15-minute walk right after the lunch. Sunlight is medicine, movement is rest. Fourth, pick one deep work block, just around 1 hour, and define it like production credentials. Hopefully you do that with credentials. Number 5, tell a teammate or mentor you are implementing boundaries. Accountability accelerates change. And number 6, journal your mood after a week. Patterns will shock you into action. I promise. Right? So, burnout isn't a rite of passage, it's a blinking check engine light. You wouldn't ignore that light in your car, right? Don't ignore it in your life, in your career. If the story resonated, hit like, so more devs see it before they crash. So, give them a favor. Subscribe for honest developer light insights every week, I promise. And drop your burnout stories or questions in the comments. I read everyone. Until next time, code smart, stay curious, never stop building, and never stop living. Thanks to all for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.